Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment, and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105. Or get yourself a quick quote, even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.
Oh, boy.
Welcome in to another edition of the biggest podcast on the planet. It is the one, the only, it is my world with the real Double J. I am your pinch hitter, Casio, but I'm here with the Hall of Famer, the man, the myth, the legend, the last outlaw, the man who breaks more guitars than Metallica. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff, Jarrett. How are you, sir?
Oh, happy My World recording day, Casio. You were already chuckling, so this is going to be a fun edition of Ask Jeff Anything. So buckle up, folks. Just the look on Casio's face as we started recording. And to be honest, we both kind of jumped on here about 3.5, 4 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah.
Silva was late as usual, unprepared. Nothing is ready. It's the same kind of debacle that me and Casio and Conrad put up with all the time. And Casio just starts laughing. So this is going to be a fun edition. How you doing, pal?
Pull the curtain back on show business. It is, are y'all ready to go? Yes. And then there's this awkward where we're not live and we're just going and getting ready. And it just tickled me. Me and you both froze and went,
here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Man, how are you? I haven't seen you since Dallas.
Oh,
that was the first time I've been to Dallas and did not get slapped by Jarrett. So that was a good run.
It's a win. And hello, Yan Lado. Hi, everyone. We've got us. Yeah, you see how I
you said that with confidence,
yes, sir. You got to. If you can just enunciate with confidence, it all sounds good. Derek Zoo, Coach Rosie. We got us a crew here this morning. But Casio, all kidding aside, wasn't it good to kind of have the StarCast crew kind of back grooving and got to see a bunch of old faces and obviously new faces? And there's the Metroplex area has always been very, very good to me. So it brought back a lot of memories, candidly, going the airport. You know, Cassie, I used to live out there. We had an apartment out there.
At the airport?
We had one the first – yeah, we signed a year lease. The first year in '89, we lived south of right off of 183, and then we got another lease up on the north side of the airport, 114 Las Colinas. So anyway, way back. Obviously, that back a lot of.
I was 10 years old.
Okay, you got to throw that. Are we going to come out jabbing? Well, buckle up, pal.
I didn't get slapped, so I'm due. I'm working with free time.
I can't slap you from here. You're right.
I did get to see you in the autograph room at StarCast, and as I walk up to the table, people were just sitting there going, "Don't slap him! Don't slap him!" No, and Karen went for a hug, and everybody's like, "Don't slap him!"
They wanted it. They wanted that good old. We've had a few run-ins, but
hey, and I know you guys have talked to it, but I'll just say it as well since I'm here with you, man. One of the best AEW pay-per-views I've been to, just top to bottom. Incredible lineup, matches galore. Every one of them I thought delivered. Whether they, some of them had the bigger hype, but I'm just saying, if you just watch that product, I thought that was an incredible night. And that stadium, from opening to close, from dark hour to when we went, was in it. You've been to a lot of them. It kind of gets long. They kind of start fading. They were in it the entire time. I was super impressed by the whole evening.
Me too. It was, those stadium shows, they can get tricky because there's, obviously a lot of open air and all that kind of stuff. And when we started the 2-hour version of 0 Hour, right there alone, you just kind of look when we're there and the people just are starting to file in, and I've got my iPad over there and thinking through all the different matches coming up, and the Texas Death. I mean, we last week me and Conrad kind of got in granular on match by match, but man, I agree with you. What an event. To me, and I just saw a stat, actually my son Cody showed me, longest pay-per-view in history. Boy, oh boy, I will for sure tell you this, and every wrestling fan, I'm a fan first and foremost, can attest that there's a lot of 3 and 4 hour pay-per-views. I'll just say 3-hour pay-per-views that feel like 10 hours. That was a kind of from noon, counting 0 hours, plural, plus 4 or 5 hours of content. That didn't feel at all that long, and that is really a testament to the talent, the flow, the build, the pacing, the layout of the night. Moxley and Hangman, God, they have had a lot of stuff to follow. I'll say that as well with Omega. They had a lot of stuff. I mean, that tag match
incredible,
basically in the middle of the show, my God, they freaking tore the house down. So the show built, hats off to all involved. Obviously, Tony running the show at the very top of that. But man, the pacing, I think when you get it right down to put my executive producer hat on, that is a very, very tricky job. And man, I think it'll go down in history in a lot of ways because there was so much, I'll say positive and negative chatter going into it. But man, I don't think there's anybody that really honestly looks at it and says, damn, what a hell of an event. So good stuff. What a way to, continue 2025. So yeah. Applause all around. The only thing missing from that entire weekend, Dynamite to Collision, Ring of Honor pay-per-view had some awesome stuff. 2 days of StarCast, karaoke, 7-hour show, but not one damn slap of Casio's face. So, I know mad.
I will say real quickly before we move on, I know it was, some saw it as a negative of deciding to start that at early in the day because of many reasons, but one of them, the product going on at night that night, which by the way flopped and y'all's delivered. But I also thought that helped the length because you could still see the daylight in the stadium. Yep. We weren't there till midnight, 1 a.m. and then fighting to get Ubers at 2 a.m. Yep. It did in that aspect change it for the better. I thought it was a super fun event that way.
Yeah, and because I've been dialed in internationally all those years, I used to this day, I marvel at, shout out to our folks across the pond. Ian is here, my man, Ian, my man, Dice Man, but all the folks across the pond, and not just in the United Kingdom, all through Europe and Lord, even into India, as opposed to starting at 7 or 8 stateside, when you crank it down there to 2, I've got a good friend in London who watched the entire day. And that is pretty engaging. That's phenomenal that he got that invested. But yeah, the start time, I think there's so many pluses to it. And, in this country, Casio, it's nothing for us to watch, especially here in the South, an SEC noon kickoff. Yeah. It just means them folks start tailgating at 8 a.m. Yeah. But it makes everything kind of flow better. So, yeah, I agree with you. There was a lot of upside to the start time.
And speaking of, it is official, AEW All-In headed back across the pond, Jeff. August 30th, AEW All-In at Wembley Stadium. Jeff, are you excited about going back to London and who you would face if given the opportunity to wrestle on that show?
Oh Lord, I'm not going to get into dream opponents. Maybe it's a Brit or something along those lines. But man, any long-term listeners that know my career, I've always got a special place for United Kingdom in so many ways. But man, actually, Sean Ryman of Live Nation UK, he was in the house in Dallas at All-In, and so us going back over there. We all knew it was coming for a while, and that stadium goes without saying. Taylor was in there the year before, and there were some juggles around there, and they had music in there this year, and so we've got our slot next year, and it just kind of falls in the bank holiday, and it's going to be a massive one. And the thing that the news that kind of came out over the weekend, Cassie, I don't know if you're aware, but on ITV, they just showed Friday night the entire program, and it's a top 5 viewing already. So ITV, shout out John Williams, good personal friend of mine, good buddy, but John Williams at ITV and the success that AEW continues to have. And John's a big part of that, but man, oh man, the content speaks for itself. And so, we're 13 months out, but man, oh man, ITV and the partnership and the programming and things are amping up, but not to get too far, we've still got Forbidden Door to do over there and Dynamite and Collision in Glasgow. So I'm pumped. Yes, I'm definitely pumped.
Just a reminder, as we continue running through a couple of news and notes and happenings in the wrestling world, you can hit us up in the chat, drop your questions. We'll get to as many of those as we can this morning. Also, if you want to make sure you jump into the line and get up front, go ahead and hit us with those super chats. So real quickly, because that is a fun news and note, in the super chat, Trigger Cheese hit us and said, happy belated to the OG final boss, future AEW champ, 60 years old, man. It was, how was it? How was your 60th?
Here we go. You know what? I didn't get to bust Conrad's balls on this. So folks, I'll let you in on this. But first off, Casio, look at you just chuckling over there.
I had to deal with happy 50th. You get to deal with happy 60th.
So Trigger Cheese is one of our OGs here. I love that name, Trigger Cheese. Casio, can you say that 3 times real fast?
No, I'd like to make it to the end of the episode. I want to let you handle it. I did it once with a running start. That was all I got.
Oh, Casio. Yeah, folks, Conrad, in my hotel room when I got there last Tuesday night, they fixed me up. My birthday was on Monday, so I had a very nice room, and I got to stay there at the Lowe's, and it was very, very nice all week. But like they do, they have a little bowl of fruit and 2 big bottles of Fiji water and all this. And there was a nice card that said happy 60th. So Conrad did his best to kind of spread the word. And folks, it is not my 60th birthday. Jesus, 39 and holding. Thank you very much. So due to Conrad's shenanigans, has to put up with happy 50th. And shit, he's 54. But
yeah, he's right on your tail. I can't believe I'm the youngest out of the group.
Let's roll. Come on.
Let's talk a little WWE before we get into some questions, Jeff. Netflix finally announced that WWE Unreal will be released this month on July 29th. As you talked about a couple weeks ago with Conrad, there's a lot of unanswered questions about the direction of the show. Well, you're not alone. Rhea Ripley gave her thoughts on Netflix's WWE Unreal series. She said, quote, I feel like WWE, they're always trying new things in bits and pieces to make it different and make it grow. And this is just one of those next steps. Do I think that everything should be shown? No, I haven't seen it yet. So I'm very intrigued to see what's on there. And it was really strange while having the camera crew around us. Well, because you're so used to all of us being so top secret and hidden, and you didn't know how to really react to things. Sometimes it's like some of the questions. That is from an interview with @Unsports ESPN. Jeff, is WWE giving us fans too much access?
I'm going to use a quote here, Casio. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but Dutch Mantel and myself used to joke and everything, but I don't know where this quote was coined, but I heard it from Dutch first. But Casio, you know how I like my reality television, because this show is reality TV, quote unquote.
Sure.
But I like my reality television well scripted.
Yes.
So,
and a lot of them are.
Oh, a lot or all of them?
I would say most, yes.
I would say all. So look, at the end of the day, it's no look. It was said, Jesus, now 3 generations ago. It's sports entertainment. So hey, folks, that the cat's out of the bag there. And so I'm not sure what we're going to see and what format and all that kind of stuff. But there will be people that watch this, that it will be 100% scripted, that go, yeah, that's it. That's real. And then there's going to be some stuff, flip this around, that is absolutely 1,000% authentic, captured content that we'll kind of call quote unquote real, that people are going to go, oh, good God. You're going to insult our intelligence? You really think we believe that? That kind of is the nature and the magic of our industry, in that no matter what they show, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be real and well scripted. And I say that out of total respect. I think at the end of the day, because I've been asked quite a bit about this, I think insulting is the word I keep coming back to. Are we insulting the fans in the presentation of how it's done? Like, hey guys, you dumbasses, this is scripted. Or is it done out of respect? My gut tells me it's going to lean into its shoulder programming. So if it doesn't support the WWE brand 100% across the board, they're spitting in the wind. But I just don't think they're going to do that. We'll see. But I think it's going to be excellent support programming. Me and not wrestler Kevin Sullivan, but we'll call it production guru Kevin Sullivan. We've had these conversations going back to 07, 08, 09. We did a couple of different things long before Reaction was thought of and all that kind of stuff. That just like the next evolution is the format and peeling the curtain back and presenting it in a real compelling, biting way that has a little bit of doc style, a little bit of reality show, a little bit of authenticity, and then it's got to have pro wrestling. But look, it's getting a lot of news. It's got talent talking. It's got the trades talking. It's got fans talking. We'll see.
Every wrestler will tell you, number one priority for the boys, hygiene. Can you imagine what it must have been like being in a head scissors with Dutch Mantel way back in the day? These days, thankfully, the boys are using Tushy. I know Jeff and I are. I'm a big believer in the Tushy bidet. I have been transformed. There really is a before and after. I mean, when you really think about how old school and a waste of time toilet paper is, once you use a Tushy, you'll never go back. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. And there really is a bidet for every biohacking personality type. I like the Cloud Plus. It automatically deodorizes the air when you sit down. My wife likes Aura. It automatically opens the seat when you enter the bathroom. You're going to get spoiled, man, because Tushy's elevated bidet collection nurtures your bottom with instant warm water that never runs cold. You get a soothing heated seat, and you even get UV sterilization for next level hygiene. All Tushy bidets easily attach to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. And instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, Tushy is going to pristinely remove 99% of bacteria, but also protect your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient. Ta-da! Fresh water. Installation's simple. It only takes like 10 minutes to complete. Literally anybody can do it. But Tushy is the real deal, man. It's so easy to use. You sit down, you cleanse, you can even dry off using the built-in air dryer. That's right. Cleaning yourself after using the bathroom can now be hands-free. People who make the switch to Tushy use like 80% less toilet paper. No more clogged toilets, no more wasting money on something that doesn't inferior your job. And if you're a wipe guy, man, you're on septic, it's just a matter of time before you've got issues. That's been my experience. Hello Tushy, though, is the real deal. Not only is it better for you and better for your house, You're going to love it so much. They give you a 30-day hassle-free return policy, and they give you a 12-month warranty. This is a great product. I've got Tushies on every toilet in my house. You'll see why once you try it one time. I spent this past weekend with our gimmick attorney, Mike Dawkins. He used my Tushy one time. Boy, that sounds bad out of context. And he went home and loaded up. His kids asked for this. Instead of PlayStation, they wanted Santa Claus to bring them a Tushy. Keep your swampiest body parts fresh and cool. Right now, our listeners can get 10% off their first bidet when they use the promo code MyWorld at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com. That's hellotushy.com, HELLOTUSHY.com, and use the promo code MyWorld.
Also coming from an interview with Scott Fishman, CM Punk says he would not want to take an office role while actively wrestling. Quote, I'm still kind of pumping the brakes on any kind of office title. I don't want to be office Punk while I'm active main roster wrestler Punk. Those things do not mix. You cannot try to tell somebody else what to do while you are essentially booked in a certain position on the show, in my opinion. I'm stoked being a wrestler, and until I hang up my boots, I'm going to be stoked being a wrestler. Jeff, if there's anybody an expert on this situation, it is you. You've been in it many times. How difficult is that juggling act between talent and office?
It's incredibly difficult, and hats off to him. And I applaud the fact there's a lot of guys that have that mindset, and there's a lot of validity to that. I was in a position my entire life. It wasn't like I got to, hey guys, I'm going to walk in the dressing room. Please forget my father's the booker and the promoter and the one who signs your checks and. Okay, that was my reality. There was nothing I could really do about it. And when you run a professional wrestling industry, at the end of the day, if you're really aligned with black ink over red ink, sometimes you got to wear two hats. In my case, multiple times at TNA, many hats. But I get it. It goes without saying it can create a conflict of interest. That's a given. That is a given. At the end of the day, you've got to do your best. You've got to really have your mind set the right way, but it's a challenge. And I can see where he's coming from, or any talent that would have that feeling. And also, when certain talent have the luxury to say, hey, I'm going to do office when I'm done wrestling. And so that, I don't call it a luxury, but maybe a benefit or reality that, hey, when they're ready to transition, that's no different than, I mean, gosh, you can go down the Hollywood world, oh God, Ron Howard, Little Opie, and then Happy Days, and then different movies. And then he segued into directing and producing and then executive producing. It's kind of a natural transition. Same in sports, you kind of look, Larry Bird, I mean, he went into coaching and then front office. There's so many people in sports that go from, playing to coaching to front office. It's just kind of a natural transition. Wrestling is no different in that aspect.
Do you think, quick follow-up, do you think once you become that executive or you got that office hat on in general, do you think anybody, does the locker room, is it a respect issue, or is it just they have to look at you, now you're one of the suits, we can't be as open as we were before? Or do you think it's a, hey, really, we know you're in the locker room with us? Do they look at you as a buddy? More of a, like, how does that view change, do you think?
See, and this is where, and I've had, obviously, this discussion since before I got into business. Yeah, I never had that, and I will call it a luxury to be, quote unquote, just talent or just
right.
voice. I never had that. And that was a part of it. But then, even when I went to WWF first time, my dad was, quote unquote, in the office, and then he moved out, and then he was a consultant at WCW, but I'm a second generation guy or a third generation guy. But it is a part of the evolution. Good question, Casio. I think it's a part of the evolution of the business that now, as the business has gotten, we'll call it, let me think, topical, Jelly Roll and Logan Paul, and you have different folks in and out of the business, and it's not, I call it that grind, so to speak, that there is much more of a clear, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. It was just kind of a clear line between talent and office. It was church and state. It was, it was just, I don't want to call it a division, but yeah, it's more or less it was. And so I was caught at times in awkward moments. I think as the years have gone on and you look at, I'll call it the McMahons family, they got into not only owning the company, but being talent. And then they ran creative or live events. And it's kind of the give and take and ebb and flow of the business. But, at the end of the day, trying to circle back to your kind of statement question, in the locker room, it's a unique dynamic across the board now. There's multiple generations. It is, I think, and I'm not going to harp on this, but kind of pulling out we'll call it the live events. Every event is essentially a TV, and TV days have different personalities than house show days, than appearance days, and being on tour and the cadence of a bus and traveling together and really together 24/7, 365 for whether it's 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 14 days. That's a different dynamic. Just the business is not, and I'm not saying it should be, it's not like it used to be. So that office talent line continues to evolve, and the lines are much more blurred than they used to be.
All right, let's move on to a company you have very close ties to at one point. Mr. TNA is in the news again. TNA President Carlos Silva, when asked if the topic of WWE purchasing TNA has been broached, quote, "Our partnership with WWE and NXT is going great, and we're going to keep it going great. And, that could appear as an opportunity down the road, but we're just sort of making sure that things like Slammiversary and Bound for Glory are, what we're doing on TV, how we're creating content, how we're working with our partners, how we're bringing in new sponsors, how we're filling up arenas. If we do all those things well, the business will sort itself out, and there'll be opportunities that then we'll explore internally as well as with our partners." That was on the Getting Over Wrestling podcast. Jeff, do you think WWE purchasing TNA is inevitable?
What are they buying?
Okay. They're already working with their talent, so they don't need that. Is there a library?
Yes, and if you really pull the layers of the onion back, I've seen specific numbers of the libraries through the years. It was not in the top 10 viewing. It's live content and this and that, and it's nice to have and make packages and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of go back because you said it, and I don't want to get into 2002 to 2013 while I was there. But when I went back, and I'm saying kind of the anthem years, their vision, so I'm totally speaking out of turn. I have no idea what their vision is, what their goal is. I don't know Carlos, never met him, really don't know a lot about his background. I know he doesn't, and unless I'm missing something, I know he has zero background in professional wrestling. So, by design, it's going to be, again, I don't know the hierarchy, but I'll call it the wrestling folks, Tommy Dreamer. And look, I don't want to put names on them, but that's the one that just come to my head. But anyway, you got wrestling folks, and I don't know what their vision is at all. And I'm going to go into, I saw a couple of his quotes in that, oh man, TNA and AJ Styles, and it warms my heart, makes me smile. Good old Allen is going back, quote unquote, home, and there is going to be a feel good moment. And I think that's very, very cool in so many ways. Like, it goes without saying, the kid from Gainesville, Georgia, who used to drive up to Nashville, Tennessee, and we had the Asylum days, and I was lucky and blessed to work with him. It was never the other way around. I really sincerely mean that. So I think it's real good and a warm and fuzzy and all this. But I think when you drill down into the business, you look at their president, Carlos, he's promoting Phenomenal. He's not really promoting his brand. And so people are saying, oh man, TNA is getting the rub and this and that and all this. But also when you look at it from the lens of WWE, they will announce the biggest star on the show at Slammiversary as from the WWE, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Yes, he cut his teeth there. Yeah. So that's why I go into people are saying, oh, they're going to buy them. What are they doing? But what are they buying and why are they buying it? I don't have those answers. I know that I'm on the outside looking in, but that's the first two questions I ask. What are they buying and why are they buying it?
It makes sense when you put it like that. Yeah, they've already got access to everything they need access to.
And they're getting promotion.
Yeah, cross promotion, yeah.
They're getting their star is in the main event. So who's really winning here?
Well, since you mentioned it, let's bring that up. AJ Styles appearing. One, did you ever think you would step inside a TNA ring again?
AJ?
Yeah.
Hell yes. No doubt, because it's, the old, reap what you sow. And I'm trying to say that is simple as I can. AJ cut his teeth in front of the entire world. And you go back and look at some of those photos, and Silva, I know there's a few out there, but a young AJ Styles, I mean, a really young AJ Styles. He was married to Wendy. I don't think he had any kids yet. He has 4 now, didn't have any kids yet. He's driving up his athletic ability. I said it on this pod so many times that it is truly like, all right, this kid is special. He's got athletic ability. He's got an all shucks boy next door, likable guy. Just it goes without saying. So he gets up and running, and he's X Division champion, and he's tag champion, and he's world champion. And then, we keep going. Then we go to Orlando. And so he had a run from 2002, very similar to mine. I think we left the same year or within months of each other. And then he left. And then what did he do? He went off to Japan and succeeded. Yeah. And then there were some folks internally in WWE. Oh, he'll never get over. He'll never get over. He'll never get over. I know for a fact Road Dogg said, give him a shot. The stars aligned, and he debuts in Orlando. And when he walked out, the place exploded, erupted. Go back and look at it. And so that didn't come from anything other than the 8, 9, 10, 11 years that he really plowed into his name in TNA and built and built and built and built and built. And so the story writes itself. At some point, he was going to circle back there on some level. But I think it's really cool. A Slammiversary in the tri-state area, kind of under these circumstances. I'm very happy personally for AJ, big time.
What do you think this opens the door for more TNA originals, Abyss, Bobby Roode, more coming back and working inside the WWE possibly?
In 2017, when I went back, there was a discussion, and me and Conrad talked about this. When they brought the TNA name back, my first response was, it was about damn time, because I pushed for it in 2017, and I totally understood why they didn't want to do it. But I said, there's a lot of equity in that name, and Hogan shit on it, Dixie shit on it, and they'd have no idea that they insulted the core fan base that had brought them to the dance from 02 to 011. You just, it was what it was. So the equity built in that name, it was an immediate feel-good moment, and you could, with bringing back the name, opens the door to bringing back all those guys. So I do think there's a Bobby Roode moment coming. I do think there's an Abyss moment coming. I do think, we could go, down that list, whoever it may be. But I think it's, again, in everyone's best interest to kind of create those moments, because, again, it helps TNA, but it damn sure gives the NXT and WWE, they're winning. with no risk, like
Yeah.
zero risk.
Yeah.
In my opinion, TNA has a massive risk.
As in,
If something were to happen and tomorrow WWE says, hey, we're going a different direction, we're not playing ball anymore, what's that TNA fan base do then?
you're left hanging. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is not a new discussion whatsoever. You go
Right.
to Great American Bash when they were touring around and they were coming into Memphis, and my father was having discussions with Crockett, and the real simple deal was, okay, if you want Lawler on the card, he's going to be taken care of, and he's at least in a co-main event. It doesn't do us any good because you're going to be gone, and I'm back here 52 weeks a year. It's just kind of simple business, like 101 kind of business.
Yeah.
And so that's where that kind of cross promoting can work in so many different ways, but you kind of have to respect both sides of the discussion. CMLL, New Japan, they're number ones in their country. AEW, number one. So when we look at that, I think there's a very good, continued healthy exchange. And those relationships, I think they're continuing to get stronger and stronger. They could fall apart, and each individual company would keep on rolling. No doubt about it.
Okay, it feels like breaking the rules, but it's totally legal, and it's better for you than that third cocktail. Here's the deal. You work hard, maybe. You deal with life, sometimes. But do you still deserve an escape? Absolutely. And that's where Indicloud comes in. Gummies, flour, pre-rolls, all federally legal, seriously fun, and just a few clicks away. Whether you're chasing better sleep, deeper intimacy, or just solid daytime relief, this is grown-up cloud chasing done right. So if you're 21 or older, head to indicloud.co and use our promo code MyWorld. You'll get 25% off your first order, plus free shipping. That's indicloud.co. Use that promo code MyWorld. You'll get 25% off, plus free shipping. You know what to do. And I got to tell you, I tried their gummies. I am not a smoke guy, but I am a gummy guy. And I wasn't so sure about this. I know a thing or two about gummies now. Indicloud is the real deal. I'm such a big believer in this. Even my wife is in on the action. She loves the Bliss Sleep Gummies. She's sleeping better than ever. It's a great way to unwind after work at home. And literally, you can have a lot of flavor with these two. They've got fantastic flavors. They've got fantastic products. They've got fantastic purposes. Whether you're just looking to chill out, you're looking to get better sleep, maybe you're looking for good energy. Listen, if you're looking for a solid buzz, look no further. And I know this sounds like a loophole, but it's not. It's science. It's policy. And Indicloud is using it to deliver one of the oldest medicines known to man in the most modern, fun, and absolutely dialed in way possible. There's already over 50,000 other people already choosing Indicloud because feeling this good should be this easy. If you're 21 or older, now's your chance to float above the stress because Indicloud is giving all new customers 25% off their first order plus free shipping. Just use the code MyWorld or click the link in the show notes to claim your discount. That's indicloud.co. That's indacloud.co. Use our code MyWorld. You get 25% off their first order. Order now and fill out their quick survey to support the show and enjoy the best part of your week. Brought to you by Indicloud.
Jeff, let's move into a little bit of a serious topic here. A person we've been rooting for, you've known for a very long time. Before we get to the questions, Buff Bagwell underwent a above-the-knee leg amputation last week following complications stemming from his car accident in 2020. It's a long road ahead for Buff. Any words of encouragement for him as he begins this journey?
Oh, one day at a time, man. And me and him, we haven't texted since the surgery, but over the last couple of years, we would kind of have a text exchange every so often, encouraging one another. But man, oh man. I mean, Casio, I think, like many of us, seeing the picture crystallize so much of there's his battle.
Yeah.
And I've got, dealing, just life, there's, I got a buddy, up in Lexington, Matt Bradford, as a young man, went off to war and came back, stepped on a device, lost both of his legs and his eyesight. So there are lots of success stories out there that people fighting for their country, or just farming accidents, all kinds of things. Buff isn't certainly the first, but man, oh man, I hope and pray, and it feels like he's I think my understanding is he chose this because he didn't want to go down the continued fight. It wasn't healing and all this, but God bless him. I wish him nothing but the best, head up. And I hope that the gratitude that comes with really, really waking up and saying, hey man, I'm breathing today. Man, tough road. I wish him nothing but the best.
I saw him in a interview with Maven. Maven stopped by and recorded a chat he had with him in the hospital. And he said that, look, he's already focused on the future. He said, I'm going to be able to run. I'm going to be able to run better. And I want to get back in the ring, hit the ropes, and have a match. I'm going to show the world that you can have just as good a life with or without a leg.
That's it, dude.
That's the mindset you got to have.
I love it, man. And he can.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely, good for him.
Shit. And it's because, as you can attest, he got his life together.
Yeah.
He's battling that addiction every day, of course, as you know, but over that, and every time I see him somewhere, he was always in a great space, and excited and thankful to be where he is.
And I'll say this, Buff, and look, we all have our bad days and irritable and all that kind of stuff, but 90+% of the time, you see, I used to call him Marquise. He always had a smile on his face. I mean, always had a smile. I mean, I can't say happy-go-lucky. That might sound too, but I mean, Marquise always had a smile on his face. Obviously, love to have a good time. But man, I'm glad to hear that kind of mindset. So good stuff, man.
Me and Dog talked to him on our show back in the day after he was finishing up with Paige and on this road. And you saw then, not only was he wanting to be clean and stay clean, already he was like, I want to get into counseling and do speeches and tell people how to get, overcome this. And now it seems like that's his mentality. Has that always been his mentality of, if we're going to do it, let's go 100% the right way?
That's in his DNA. And he's kind of a glasses half full kind of guy.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
That's what it's going to take.
All right, let's jump into some questions. If you've got questions, you can pop those in the chat. We'll get to as many of those as we can. We'll get to some of those. We've got some questions from Twitter and from all around, so we'll get to some of those. From our mailbag, Josh Conder said, if you could have one last match in TNA against any former TNA wrestler, who would your opponent be and why?
Oh, in TNA.
Must be TNA.
Make sure I understood that. I mean, God, this may be the lowest of low-hanging fruit, but how do I not pick AJ? The funny part is I'm not sure AJ would want to go for it. Probably had enough of his Jeff Jarrett through the year. Yeah, but he'd definitely kind of be up there at the top of the list. Or, if it's my last match in TNA, give me a title shot and put the champion over, whoever the champ may be. Maybe that.
Let's keep on that road in our super chats. I'm definitely not going to get this name
Butcher
right.
It, buddy. Butcher it.
I feel like he just headbutted the keyboard and it popped out. Dakotea Kauk. What do you think? How'd I do?
Jesus.
It's pretty close, right?
Yes. And Dakotea Kauk, if you can kind of put in the chat that thumbs up or thumbs down on the enunciation from my man Casio, we would love to know what you think of that. But Dakotea?
How quickly would you call him Dak or DK? I mean, as fast as possible.
DK. So, DK, what's up? I could have a dream match type and opponent. Ooh. Oh boy.
Would you want a big guy? Would you want a high flyer? What would you want a type?
You know, and you can kind of, it's Dakota. Okay.
Well, okay.
My bad. I knew.
We overthought that. That's on us.
Oh, God bless us.
Thank you, Dakota.
We tried. We appreciate you. Dream match type. You know, I love the Falls Count Anywhere type, and I like to have a match that can start as a wrestling match and then build into the Falls Count Anywhere and the weapons and the drama and all that kind of stuff. So no disqualification, Falls Count Anywhere. The opponent, that is a catch as catch can. You know, if we're going to go back in time, I saw Lawler, and I know people go, oh, Jerry Lawler. When he really had his creative hat on and head on and really thought through things, he could make a spot show in Blytheville, Arkansas with this kind of stipulation. I mean, literally just people on the edge of their seat. His psychology, in my mind, is right there, top 5 of all time. So maybe, and I've worked with him, but if we want to go back in generations or current, hell, I never got to work with Cena, and I think he's very, very gifted in creativity. What a lightning rod. I mean, there's a number of dream opponents.
All right, Garrett Hagel hit us up at My World Pod on X. Who had the most influence on your in-ring skills, and who had the most influence on your skills behind the curtain?
Oh, in-ring skills. It's really hard to name one. Number one, Tojo worked with me in my first year on selling, which was a gift, but it really was a PhD. I'll call it. It's like in education. I think you have your, formative years, elementary, junior high, and high school, and then you kind of get into college. And then you I'll call it kind of the post grad kind of stuff. But Tojo in a cram course, Akio Sato, the very basics of footwork and movement was very instrumental. But it on psychology and thinking things through on the level of the mindset of you can't have too many levels. You better tell a story. I'd have to give that to Lawler. And then, backstage, I think was the second part of that question. I think it's one of the things that I continue to do to this day is observe. I observed my father. I observed Lawler. I observed Dundee, Dutch Mantell, in a lot of ways. Eric Embry out in Texas, obviously going to the WWF, Vince, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard as a young talent I did, going to WCW, Kevin Sullivan, obviously Eric Bischoff, others there that you kind of watched how they operated in that committee. And I kind of saw firsthand how that's a real cluster, that there is no winning formula there. And then, I'm going to, the transition, a lot of people in this day and age can't even relate to, prior to, I'll call it the Attitude Era, there weren't quote unquote writers. It was Vince, Bruce, and Pat. And, there was a time for my dad was in creative or Jim Cornette was in creative. But when you kind of got into that Attitude Era and then post that, the writer, quote unquote writer. And so my observation through the lens of the backstage, I think my backstage development is an ongoing process because today's world is a completely different generation. I can see the positives and the negatives. So I continue to try to adapt, remain teachable, but also observe. And I think through all this, by the way, Casio, my wisdom is sit back and observe. And when you try to tell somebody what to do, they don't listen. When they come and ask, it's a completely different conversation. So I'm not in the position of authority. So I just observe, and people ask my opinion. I'll certainly give it, but I work on how Jeff's going to navigate his future as opposed to try to tell others what they should or shouldn't do.
All right, let's set up the super chat. Trigger Cheese is back and said, "Did you ever wrestle Paul London? Y'all were some of my faves."
Oh, Trigger Cheese. You know, I don't think me and Paul.
I think he came to WWE in 2003.
Well, but I think he did a few TNA matches as well, but I don't, maybe in tags, I don't know. Paul, his talent, look, and I'll just say this, from 2000, I'll just say the 2000s, you know, 01, 02 through about, I don't know, even 12, 13, 14, there were a massive influx of talent that guys were off the charts. Independent wrestling began to pick up, which means the feeder system fed into Ring of Honor and TNA and the UK scene and the Japan scene and Mexico scene. There was a lot of guys uber talented, Paul being one of them.
All right, back to our mailbag. We've got Kayfabe, aka Greg, said, "Jeff, did you and Honky Tonk Man ever have a conversation about smashing guitars?"
Nope, we sure did. You know, Honky came in to Tennessee. That would have been, oh God, we had a few matches. Would that have been around 95, 96? Oh, Wayne. And a lot of people are not even really aware of one of the first times I was even around Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham, managed by Sergeant Danny Davis, also known as Nightmare Danny Davis. Larry Latham later became Moondog Spot. But they were the Blonde Bombers, and they were a part of the very first concession stand brawl. But they worked a program with my father and Tojo Yamamoto, and so you know that's how far back. And Wayne Ferris's mom and Jerry Lawler's mom were sisters, and so literally they're first cousins. Carl Fergie, same thing. They're all first cousins. But you know, that's how far we back go. So did we ever have a conversation about smashing guitars? No, not at all. I think as time has gone on, the internet, but you know, Wayne went down as the Honky Tonk Man, more of kind of the Elvis shtick, if you will, and Double J was more country music. So yes, it's both kind of music backgrounds, but in a lot of ways, very, very different personalities.
In a lot of ways. What a polite way to say that. Let's see what we got. This is interesting. Chris Jennings from the mailbag said, in your wrestling career, do you think you've drove more miles or flown more miles?
Well, just because, I mean, I don't even think it's close, because I've been flying since 93. And I drove from, daily 86 to 93, about 3,500 miles a week, roughly. And so just the miles, and yeah, you're out on the road and you're flying all this, but you go to the UK, and 94 alone, I think I went to overseas 7 trips. That's every other month, Casio. So it's hard to catch. I mean, it's hard to really match the miles. So I'm almost 2 million miler on 2 different airlines. So I don't think, and then the others, I've got a lot. So no, I don't think it's anywhere close. Many more air miles.
They rack up real fast.
Yes, they do.
Rack up real fast.
Yes, they do.
We're getting all kind of versions of this from the mailbag and from the live chat. So we'll kind of start with this and then kind of spiral out. Derek Zoo is in the live chat. What's up, buddy? He said, Jeff, this upcoming week marks 30 years since you wrestled Shawn Michaels at the Municipal Auditorium in Nashville. Is that still a top 5 match for you?
30 years, Derek. You didn't have to remind us. That means I wrestled him when I was 9 years old. That's pretty damn good for a 9-year-old.
Me and Derek weren't born yet. That's awesome, dude.
No doubt. I mean, it is still maybe even top 3. But yes, the shorter answer is, and when I kind of look at that, me and Shawn wrestled each other when they first came into the territory, and he's a little bit older than me, and he gave me a real mindset on how to work 10-minute Broadways. And I learned a lot from Shawn early. like when I was first around him, because again, he had a couple of years, he had worked Louisiana and AWA, and we hit it off, and obviously ran the roads together, partied together, and had all kind of good times. But I said it in my Hall of Fame speech. I really think Sean's one of those guys that Flair got pissed off at me, probably still pissed off from his day, but I called him kind of the Michael Jordan. I think Sean's ability to make everybody better. And at the end of the day, you always leave a match with Sean better, but you always go, damn, that guy's good. And so I look back on that and know that, look, we had worked at tags, me and Sean against Scott and Kevin a lot. And so me and him were partners kind of early part of 95. Again, we knew each other's style. I'll just say awesome chemistry together. And I had a lot of heat on me as a heel. Road Dogg, super charismatic. He was right on the scene. Everything just kind of gelled. And when I kind of look back or hear folks talk about it is, hell yeah. It is still a top match. And I feel very grateful when I can really look over my career and go, okay, hey, if you want to watch a Jeff Jarrett match, go watch that one.
Johnny asked it in our chat, and Roger asked it in our mailbag based on this topic, wanting either your Mount Rushmore of favorite opponents or your top 5 matches of your career. So they kind of go hand in hand. You know, I know you mentioned Sean, so maybe that's one. What's maybe a few others?
Me and Lawler did a series of 60-minute Broadways. Don't know if any of them are really on tape. That you know, and this is going to be just off the top of my head. Our early match in my career, which I feel was a kind of match that I think against Nick Bockwinkel, but they did the story and I just kind of fell into that. But I went about 20 with Nick, and it was a basic match, but it was one of those matches that I gained a boatload of self-confidence in. You know, here's truly the AWA world champion. And they did a simple storyline that he was to come here. And anyway, quote unquote, as a young upstart babyface, I kind of backed into the match. Of course, he beat me clean right in the middle, but I think that match and me learning that I can get beat right in the middle of the ring and get over, there was so many things out of that, and the people getting behind me, that was one. I think if you want to go what I just referenced, me and Sean with Road Dogg in our corner against Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Razor, and Diesel, we'd go 30 or 40 every night and literally tear the house down. And, you know, Pat, Vince, guys on the card, they knew that, okay, man, this match is super entertaining. That my series of matches against Kurt at that stage in my career, you know, I was a little over 40 years of age, and I knew that, okay, this guy takes things to another level. I'm going to put that right up there. The series of matches, I think the body of work for, what was that, 6-9 months of an angle, we had a trilogy. I put right up there. Cage match in Cincinnati and a brawl out in the back parking lot. And anyway, a couple of matches with Kurt are definitely up there. My world title match in Mexico, winning that, and the heat and the timing and kind of the impact that it had lasting on my career. I held it at that time longer than any international guy had ever held it. That's one of the ones that I look back on and go, okay, that was a hell of a moment. Me, you know, a year out of treatment and AAA and Rey Mysterio and how the match all went down. I was became the AAA mega champion for a second time or whatever, second time. Anyway, I'm just kind of going through it off the top of my head. And then kind of to circle back, early TNA. There's a few matches against Ron Killings or AJ Styles that are up there with my favorites. And then, you know, the one TNA match that I kind of felt, boy, I'm running through this, but that I didn't plan to keep the title that long. There were contractual situations with other talent, and we couldn't move it. But it all worked out for best, because when Sting finally beat me and we started out that program not knowing that we would even have the opportunity to get Kurt, and Kurt became the special enforcer, and that took that match to another level. And so me versus Sting, there's a few matches with Sting, but that ranks right up there at the top on what we delivered for the audience. That's it, Casio, as far as kind of run through that. I think that's right up there at the top. Good question, though.
All right, back in our mailbag, Damian Lazarus said, what was the first we made it moment when starting TNA Impact Wrestling?
Well, going on the air, the very first show, not small, but that's not really what we made. You know what? This may be, people might not have heard this, but I kind of, so 2002 we launched, and the Asylum years, and then the Fox Sport, and we were at a crossroads, and we'd gone through all kinds of ups and downs with the Carters and Panda and all that. But we, by luck, by the grace of God, Vince McMahon and Viacom / Spike TV had a falling out, and they weren't going to renew, and they were going back to USA. So at the time, Spike had zero interest in continuing in the wrestling business. But we got a meeting, Casio, and I've told this in detail, and we can probably go back in the archives. But we got a meeting, and me and my father, David Zahadi, went, and Dixie, obviously. But we went up and had the sizzle reel, and we did the show pitch, and Kevin Kay and Brian Diamond and a guy named Jim Burns were in the room. I think those were the three. But we flew private on the Panda Jet, Dallas to Nashville. They picked us up in Nashville. We went up, had the meeting, flew back into Nashville. I landed 5 or 6 o'clock Nashville time, back in Nashville. I got in my car at the airport and drove to the office to get some things. And I went in, and this is back in the day that my office line, my landline, I checked voicemail, and I clicked the voicemail, and I got a message. Hey, Jeff, this is Spike. We got your message. We really enjoyed the meeting. What we would like to do is we'd like to go to the next step and go to terms. We really like what we heard today, and we want to do business with you guys. Casio,
Woo.
It was one of those moments that, it was just a radical change in that we had plowed and plowed and plowed. And, just a week or two ago, Meltzer reported that we were going to do a time buy with Spike. That was total fabrication. That was never discussed, because when he said that, I immediately said, we're going to get paid by Viacom. Didn't know the number, but we're going to get paid. And that's when you go, okay, the last 4 years, now we're going to start rolling. And I knew that, okay, they want our content. It's up to us. We got to come on. We got to prove ourselves. But I had all the confidence in the world in our team, our talent, our brand. We just needed that shot. And that was really the first big moment. I'll never forget it. I'm sitting here telling it in detail. I can see the black phone with the long ass cord that I would stretch out and walk around my desk on. I can see the notepad. I can see my desk. I can see, I had a stack of CDs of all kinds of content and anything. I could just see everything about the big window in my office at Company Station that I would spin around in the chair, like in this chair. Holy shit! In this
Same chair.
I know that Conrad's laughed about it, but literally this chair in 2002, I bought it. It went from the Hendersonville offices down to Cumming Station, and then back to here. And then when I brought it back here in whatever year that was, it was downstairs at a little side desk, and then kind of got this office and then rearranged it and this and that and this desk. And I've got a big old back chair over there that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's hell, you can lay back in it and go to sleep in it, but this is kind of a good, I've always used as a work chair. But anyway, sitting in this chair and spinning around, I can look out and see the train yard at Cumming Station. Casio, there is so many things I can tell you specifically about that moment, because I knew, all right, man, we got a shot.
Well, that's a core memory if there ever was one, brother.
Yeah,
And talk about nailing the interview. You're ready to go before you even get back to the office, my man.
that's I kind of glossed over that. That was a massive part about it. That
Yeah.
we leave the office. Obviously, they talked amongst themselves. We got on a plane, fly. So from the time we left the office to the time I'm at my desk, because it's a night. I mean, it's 3 to 4 hours because we left downtown and went straight to the hangar and took off and landed and straight to the office 15, 20. I mean, it's a 3 to 4 hour window. It was that quick.
Wow.
It was big. It was big, really big.
The only thing bigger is probably the number of protein farts that office chair has seen. I mean, that is seen.
We were having such a pleasant conversation, Casio. I mean, everything is just.
Oh, I just thought about it. Boy, that's caught some heat over the years.
I haven't called you by your real name. We're like very buddy today. I'm not slapping you. I don't even want to slap you. I'm not carrying up here to slap you.
Talk about a heat magnet. That's that chair, brother. Wow.
I bet. Hey.
Oh, you got a new pad.
Oh, would you like that pad right there?
That is a sponge, son. That is soaking them up.
It's
very
comfortable.
It's very comfortable.
You're too much. Lord have mercy.
Go into our. Let's get back on.
Uncle.
All right, boys, into the room. Dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like somebody gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. I took Blue Chew and now my reflection won't even make eye contact. Guys, this isn't just about performance. It's about your legacy or your third leg, a C. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. So discover your options right now at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use the promo code MyWorld at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head on over to BlueChew.com for details and important safety information. And a big thank you to sponsoring today's podcast and Jeff's Wiener.
Super. Let's get a super chat. Let's get this back on the schedule. Jared Clark, thank you, brother. Hit us up in the super chat. Jared said, Anna Jay, Tay Mello, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart are the future of AEW. My concern is that these girls haven't been elevated yet. Could you please ask TK to elevate them? And what do you think of elevating underutilized talent into undeniable?
Jared Clark, shout out, my man. I'll call it. I appreciate your observation, but I'll just kind of break down your question and statement. Make sure you name 4 talent. I can assure you from 39 years, it'll be 40 next year, 40 years of experience. It's hard to elevate 4, let alone 1. Time takes time. I will say all 4 ladies, I think you would agree if me and you were sitting around drinking a protein shake in honor of Casio, but if we were sitting around having a cup of coffee or whatever it may be and getting into a discussion, I think our giving take of the conversation would go something along the lines of, hey man, let's pick one of the 4 and get that one over. And then after they get up, and I just think time takes time. And when you are looking at as deep a roster, and I could not agree, the future of AEW in the women's division, I'm assuming, I'm going to take that assumption that, look, the female side is a part of it. It's not all of it. But when you have Mercedes and Timeless One, and it goes without saying, they're at the very, very top, there's only enough room at the tip top for 1, maybe 2. You're pushing 3. Jarrett, my bad. Jarrett. So my bad. I just saw. Yep. Anyhow, Jarrett, the reality is that they're on their way. I think that's where I'm going with. I think we would be aligned in that. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that you take any one of the four or take them as a group, they're undeniable. They're on their way. They have momentum, but time does take time. It's like a young AJ Styles. It's like a young fill in the blank of many, 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 many talents. I mean, you know, and look, yes, they're on a national stage, but you kind of look at a Bryan Danielson and the amount of years he really toiled his craft to the point where he got down on himself at times because he was never breaking through. And then he got to the WWE and didn't immediately break through. So some talent, it just takes longer than others. You know, some folks come on the scene and are shot out of a count and go right to the top. And unfortunately, some people that do that fall off just as quick as they got to the top. So I'll say this with, again, not just my 40 years, but many, many generations. The slower the build, the longer the career.
And also a good problem to have. When there's fans asking, hey, this person needs to get pushed. This person that means you've got that deep roster. You've got more than just a couple people at the top, and it speaks to how deep. And I heard multiple times by different people, whether in passing or literally riding in a car with them, speaking to how good the women's division is in AEW across the board in wrestling. But AEW, that weekend in Dallas, everyone was talking about such an incredibly deep women's roster at AEW.
Yeah, no doubt.
Incredible. Let's see what we got here. Back to the mailbag. Carl Hayes said, Jeff, if you were to plan a concert with 4 or 5 acts, who would be the artist to play and the order? All right, well, so we've got the Last Outlaw Fest. Who's playing it?
You're not going to like my answer.
Am I not going to buy tickets?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know. But what I would do I would probably call. I got buddies at every agency, but I'd call my buddy at CAA. I'd call my buddy at UTA, and I'd call my buddy at William Morris. And I'd say, yeah, those three, I'd say, give me the top 5 grossing acts or the hottest act: country, rock, rap, pop, and I'll let you kind of a catch in. So who is selling the most tickets? And I'd book those 5 because I want to make money. And music, like professional wrestling, is subjective, and it just is. It you know, but you're kind of asking me what I like. And I'm being serious about that. I want it to be successful, and then I'd give each of those acts kind of the opportunity to say, hey man, you've got to invite this festival, this 3-day festival. You each have to invite 2 opening acts and give them an opportunity. And then I want you to bring them on stage with you at the end of your set to give them the rub. And I don't know, I'm getting into kind of a fantasy festival here. But no, you know what? And that's it. You know, it really is. I mean, it'd be, you know, you just personal. Toby would be on there. I would want to sit back and listen to one of my personal favorites, Toby. I like for guys, you know, I'm not the, you know.
Just say Taylor Swift and let's get this over with.
Oh, Tay for sure. You know, the kids would be there, and my girls would be happy,
and the money.
Well, that's why that she was coming already.
I knew. I was just waiting on it. I knew it was coming.
Oh, I don't know. There's some.
Is there a bucket list band you'd like to see that you haven't been able to see?
You know, all these years, and I've always been fascinated by the creative process of Elton John and Bernie Taupin.
Oh, yeah.
That, you know, Bernie writes those lyrics and then Elton puts the music to it. I think for our industry, I think there is something kind of magic in that. Okay, Elton, as successful as he is, he goes, Bernie, you go write this. Yeah, and I'm going to say, I think that's cool. I think you look at, Billy Joel, and I don't want to get politics involved in all this, but a Billy Joel and a Bruce Springsteen, guys that have these, Rod Stewart, some long legendary careers I'm always fascinated at how long they've been in the game, and they keep on keeping on. I mean, again, the Stones, when you really think through all that, I would have loved to have seen Queen live in concert.
Oh yeah.
Freddie, when he was on his game at the very top of it, it's hard to not say that's the most charismatic front man of all time. Like, let me ask you, Casio, who do you think? Because charisma and selling the tickets, because I think a lot of folks, and I'm from Nashville, and you know the deal, that there's so many good guitar pickers and musicians around this town. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
That don't mean shit, unfortunately. And there's a lot of songwriters, like really, really, really good songwriters that don't ever really get their break. It's just kind of that magical charisma that they write a good song, they have the right connection, the right pitch, the right timing, the right label, and the executive, and just so many different layers on how you really break out. But I think when you're talking about performances and performers, I mean, you can, Linkin Park and I mean, we could go down a list of bands from the 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, but kind of look back on it. Who do you think is David Lee Roth? Who do you think is the most charismatic lead singer / frontman in history?
I mean, I don't. It's going to be hard to narrow it down to one. Of course, there's different generations of styles. I think Freddie's got to be in that conversation for sure. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I think Robert Plant is a magnet.
Yeah.
When you see him, you just go, for some reason, I need to pay attention to that guy. And that's saying a lot because he's got Jimmy Page next to him, and Bonham was behind him, and John Paul Jones over there. I mean, Led Zeppelin is fascinating. You know what's fascinating about the Stones is I would say a casual fan. I like some radio hits. Never got a deep dive. Never bought albums. They were before my time. And I was fortunate enough to see them at Titan Stadium, at Nissan Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of those moments. It's kind of like wrestling when you see somebody live and you go, I get it now. I got it.
Wow.
They own even me being far back in the stadium, them on the tiny stage, they owned it. They drew your attention there. He was, I don't know, he's old his whole life, it feels like, but he's 70 and was running and hitting every note, and they're still jamming, and they're just, and you see the respect they have of, they were talking about how many artists were in the backstage just wanting to be there to say hey and shake their hand as fans, and you go, oh, I get it now. Not that I was knocking them. It was just a moment of clarity of, man, they're game changers. Did you get it?
Did you ever see Michael Jackson live?
No, I wish I would have.
Yeah, I never saw him live, but and again, I'm not the big bin watcher in TV. I like documentaries and all that, but like U2 at their peak, when you kind of saw them perform live, and I know post production does a lot, but you watch, and I'm not saying one song, you watch kind of, I'll say an hour or 45 minutes of Michael Jackson on stage, when he was rolling, you just go, okay.
Yeah.
This guy is a kind of a completely, just on a different level as far as connecting emotionally. It's Elvis, and I'm seeing somebody chat. Joe Bangles. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, that's why, and I, excuse me, to bring it back down, to our business, there's something about certain individuals. So I don't know how we went in this rabbit hole, but
you could almost, we were talking about, he wanted to ask about concert. You could almost, the good charismatic lead singers, you could put it on mute and still watch their concert and just gravitate to watch them.
I agree.
And that's a fascinating deal. Let's get back into it. Let's go super chat. Matthew Rodriguez. Thank you for that, Matthew. He said, if Umaga did not pass away in 2009, was TNA interested in Umaga in 2009 and 2010? Thanks in advance. Thanks, Matthew.
Short answer is yes. It was always dollars and spots. So we're looking at 2009. So we're talking about, I mean, let's talk about 2008 or 2007. It was that different ebb and flow of, and look, people, and I've talked about it, the challenge of dealing. Okay, I'll be short here, but the mentality of booking a card, and I'll just say whether it's Vince McMahon or Tony Khan or Jerry Jarrett or Crockett or Eddie Graham, that when they wanted to make a decision about talent, hey, they own the company. If they wanted to overspend, the only person they had to look in the mirror and answer to was themselves. It was their money. That wasn't the case. And so Umagas of the world, speaking of the family, Rikishi, but there's a bunch of others in there. Me and Conrad, as of late, we've kind of talked about how TNA, we didn't pick up Bryan Danielson during that time when he was available. We were so slammed that I was kind of pressed over and over and over that, hey, man, we need to cut talent. We need to cut talent. We need to cut talent. It was just, what a challenge. It really was. So, yes, we'd be interested in Umaga.
Back into the mailbag, Ryan Green, since you mentioned it a little bit earlier, AEW coming to Glasgow, Scotland next month. First, Jeff, will you be there? Secondly, do you have any good stories about being in Scotland?
So what was the beginning of the question? Will I be there?
Will you be in Glasgow?
Yeah, of course I'll be there. And I'm looking forward to returning. Scotland is, you know what? And I've, God rest his soul, Adrian Lionheart at TNA. I went and beat him up and guitar shot in a little wrestling school. So Brayhead and Arena. And there is so many really fun, specific wrestling memories that I have in Scotland, going back to a real gross one, but Aberdeen, way up north, Casio, freezing cold. I ate something bad at catering, worked the show, and literally got back to the room. And Casio, oh boy, it didn't come out the back end, up the front end. I threw up all night. And I would call down, ask the maid, hey, I need wet towels. Please bring me wet towels. I got to wet stuff up all night. It was miserable.
Oh, no.
That's one of the only times I've really got that sick of food poisoning on the road. But Aberdeen, but Glasgow. Cassie, have you ever been, real quick?
No, I would love to.
But yeah, the dudes in kilts, like you're checking in, and whatever it may be, there's several countries that and different personalities and flavors and like, hey man, when in Australia, land in the Gold Coast, hell, and maybe it's just my experience. You get off the plane, there ain't a damn soul that ain't happy, and it's that accent, and they're chipper and this,
yeah,
all that. When you land, and Scotland, and shout out Grado and his personality, but there's a certain personality in Scotland that I freaking love, and the kilts, and Scots love to have a lot of fun, and Lord knows I've had a lot of fun in Scotland. But there's something about it. But looking forward to coming back. Damn, that's only a month away, a little over a month. So, Yep, I'll be there, man.
What was the catering American food, or was it local Scottish?
That was a local cater. Now that's 94.
Okay.
Conrad was hosting. He'd Google this, but he'd give us the date. But it was a Scotland show in 94, and I'm pretty sure Aberdeen. And buddy, oh buddy, it was a rough one. It was a rough one. Since we're talking UK, you better make sure you get Ian's question in there, because
we're going. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It was local catering. I'll say that during those days.
Oh no. Okay.
Hey, take a look at this. In May of 2025, there were 2 million homes for sale in the United States. That's up 16% from last year. That means it's a buyer's market. Now is the time to get a great deal on your next house. We say it all the time. Marry the house and date the rate. Well, somebody who did that was my man Daryl from Massachusetts. He was looking to move his family from Massachusetts to Wisconsin, but they wanted a home with a lot of land. Daryl knew what to do. He came to SaveWithConrad.com early in the process. He wanted to see where he stood. And when he was ready to pull the trigger, he called us back. He said he wanted a place with a lot of land, and he wasn't kidding. Now he's got over 20 acres. Come on now, roll tide on that. SaveWithConrad.com can help you do this too. If you're in an apartment, maybe you need some more space. Maybe it's time to finally own something for yourself. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage. Stop building wealth for your landlord. Start doing it for your family. My family can help at SaveWithConrad.com. We can get you pre-approved and tell you exactly what you want to hear. We're going to ask you things like, how much of a down payment do you want to put down? And by the way, 0 is an answer. There's still no money down programs out there. Then we're going to say, finish this sentence for me. I want my new house payment to be no more than blank. That really is how we do this. We want to know what you're comfortable putting down. We want to know what you're comfortable with on a monthly basis. And then we'll match you with a real estate agent in your area to make sure that you get the house that you really love, and you're going to love the payment for it too. That's what it's all about. We figure out a way to navigate the no's and get to a yes. So if you've had some late payments here or there, maybe you've got some things in your past that you're not too confident about, and you're not even sure, how do I get started? Do I qualify? What is the next step? The first step is to talk to us. Let's get a plan. We want to be your mortgage advisor for life. And we even give that to you in writing. We all know that interest rates are going to improve. And when they do, we don't want you to miss out. So we're giving you a year 3 guarantee, where if interest rates improve over the next few years, we'll throw you another refinance without charging you a whole new set of closing costs. It'll give you the peace of mind of knowing you got the best deal possible right now, but you're not wasting money later. But if you're on the fence about buying a house right now, and you convinced yourself, oh, I need to wait until the rates are lower, buddy, everybody's doing that. When that happens, you have no leverage. You have no negotiations power. This is when we were seeing houses sell hours after being listed for above the list price, for all cash, from institutions. We're going to have that same cycle again. I want to encourage you, get in front of it. Find the house that works for you right now with the payment that you can deal with right now. And man, when interest rates improve, you're going to be saving a whole heck of a lot of money, and you'll have a ton of newfound equity. This is the way it works, and I want you to act now. If you're paying rent, let's make a commitment that you won't pay rent next year. Let's get you in a house. Let's get a plan. Let's go to SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender, SaveWithConrad.com, or drop me an email, Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's kick it over to Andrew Dice Clay. He said, an interview with Slam Wrestling in 1998, Owen Hart mentioned his best friend in the WWF was Jeff Jarrett. This was a year before you guys got teamed. Did you travel with Owen before teaming up together?
Yes, we did. Ian, always shout out. Hell of a follow. He's got crazy kind of personality. I want to meet
Great
him.
stuff.
That was something, and we've kind of touched on it off and on through the years here at My World. When me and Owen very first met, 91, 92, Lawler and Brett were working a story, and Owen came in, and it's hard to really describe, but Casio, okay, you can relate. I don't know when you and Corey or any of your comedian buddies, so to speak, first meet, but there's a bond, a kinship that it's like you can start talking that vernacular and pacing, and whether you bombed or whether it's super successful or anything in between, y'all immediately can relate and know.
Your mind, you click.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Me and Owen were sons of promoters. And from the day we met, and look, Brett the same. I mean, Brett said that, but we had a different relationship, and a good one. But me and Owen, for whatever it was, about the same age, about the same stage in life, with wives and kids and all that kind of stuff. We literally just kind of, it's probably too strong to say best friends right out of the gate, but I'll say we were tight from day one. And then, that's many years before Ian's question here is 98. So, you go 6-7 years. And so, yeah, we traveled together. Owen was notorious that Owen, let's just say he traveled the most economical way. So if he had somebody that would drive him around, Owen had no problem. Hey, you go ahead and rent your own car. I'm going this route, the free route. And so, but no, we traveled together, and yeah, we were buds. And I think so many ways losing him, that was just such a, not to get into it, but such a huge void that I really had no idea how much of a void it was going to leave in my life.
We'll keep it going in the super chat since we're on the topic. Pyrus Wrestling said, "Do you remember the Owen rib on Vince with the pigs?"
Oh, Jesus. Somebody got to give me a little context. So
That sounds serious.
Diggs, was that the Godwins? Please, in the chat, somebody fill us in, and we're going to come back to that. But
Yeah.
I feel like it was something with the Godwins, and I don't know. But Paris Wrestling, shout out. Much appreciated. You may have to give us the context here because I feel like it's a Godwin rib. The Hogs.
On Something to Wrestle, JBL, he said, well, I'm not going to find it. I'll find it. We'll get to it. I'm going to ask you a question. We'll get back to it. Me and Silva will get it. Around the Mat Pod said, Jeff, what's your favorite title run of yours all time, your career?
Ooh, favorite title run. Probably 3, because it's so hard. September 15th, 1994 versus Doink in Aberdeen, Scotland. Shout out Universal in the chat. We're rolling here this morning. I knew it. But anyway, probably my first IC run against Razor, 95. I think my NWA title run, where I eventually dropped it to Sting that we referenced earlier, was a big one because it built and drew money, and there was heat, and there was a real direction on why we were doing it and how we were building. Early days of Spike. Yeah, I think that. And then there's no way, and again, a lot of my world listeners aren't familiar with my work in Mexico, but I'm very proud, very grateful. I know the impact I had in Mexico, and so I held the belt long time. I forget how many days, but a long time. And I know all the players involved that were a part of that. Moody Jack, and I mean the Dorian, obviously. It was a business move, and they doubled down on me, and so they invested in me. I invested in them, and I believe it was a big part of my career and a part of my legacy, I think, in a lot of ways, because we've kind of touched on this a little bit in this podcast. USWA, or back in the day it was CWA, then to USWA. Father's a promoter. Went to the WWF. Vince was the promoter, but the early days, my dad was working in the office. Anyway, WCW, not so much. TNA, me and my dad partnered early, and then that, and so all that. But man, when I went to Mexico, it was just me. I had to either make it or break it on my own individual talent. And so I think that's also a part of where it means more to me than most, probably.
All right, going back quickly to pigs, JBL reminded everybody that it's out there. There's apparently a picture going around as well. But Owen sent a bunch of hogs into Vince's office. He got them from Henry Godwin. He said, quote, "They put all the pigs in the freaking office, and Vince's office is now covered in everything that pigs do." This is apparently 95.
My gut tells me, because me and Road Dog, your former partner, we powdered. We left in July of 95, and so this had to have been after we left. I feel like it, because that's when Hogman, Henry O. Godwin, and Phineas. But when you sit back and think about that, who else could have got away with letting freaking pigs? I mean, but Owen could. Owen.
That's what I was just about to say. The stones to prank Vince. Like I don't hear. I've talked to a lot of you. I've listened to a lot of you. Not many of you talk about anybody pranking Vince.
But like that's that. If there's one kind of DNA of Owen, because Vince I guarantee you Vince was madder than hell, but respected the shit out of it later. Like, because it's just like, good God. But anyway, that also goes into, you know, love him or hate him, my relationship with Vince. Vince is the son of a promoter. So Vince and Owen had a different relationship than Vince and other talent. Look, you know, Vince did business with Owen's father. I mean, there's a lot that goes into kind of that promoter mentality. I deal with it so often. I mean, from day one in my career up till now, there is just a there's just a different mindset, and a lot of times I just bite my lip now because you just have to live through so many of these things. But that's where, you know, that relationship between Vince and Owen, just different, just a different relationship, and he felt obviously he could he could rib Vince.
That's stones, man. That is some stones.
Hilarious.
Trick of Cheese hit us up in a super chat and said, is a Cody heel run coming this year, in your opinion? This year. So let's just say, make a prediction by the end of 2025, will Cody heel run come?
Trick of Cheese, you're bringing it today, my man. You are bringing it. I would immediately say hell no, because he's moving too much merch. But I think the political nature of where things are at, from an observation outside looking in, I'd have to say, Trigger, they'll pull that trigger.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not saying right, or I mean, I just think, and again, dollars and cents wise, but what I don't know, I don't know. So I'll classify that. But yeah, we'll see. We will see, won't we?
We will definitely see. Back in our chat here, the live YouTube chat, Pirates Wrestling hit us in the super chat and said the Owen ribbing on Jason Sensation, trying to do an impression of George the Animal Steel, and Jason did it in front of him, and George cussed at him. Well, do you remember this?
See, the thing that Owen was a master at, that, like, in reality, the pigs were the part that Vince sees that when it went down. I'm sure there's no way Owen had any direct, he wasn't a part of it at all.
Right.
There's no way Vince could pin it on him till probably way after the fact. And by that time, it was a running, laughing gig and all that. But in the heat of the moment, Vince gets mad at pigs. And so you can just kind of see that. Same type deal is that Jason Sensation, hilarious. Look at this. That's great. Vince, for you audio listeners, check out our YouTube feed, myworldpod.com. Vince opening an office and seeing the pigs. Not little baby piglets either. I mean, full grown, big fat ass pig.
That looks like you are Vince, and then you are looking at the first time you ate lunch with me and Silva and Conrad.
There you go.
After we set up your studio.
Oh my gosh. So where were we at? Jason Sensation.
Yes.
Look, young impressionable kid who just wanted a break, and he was very talented. He had obviously, to be an impressionist, you have to have a fantastic ear to really hear it right, and then you got to regurgitate it, spit it back up. But you know, he didn't care if Owen was ribbon or not. He wanted to get in front of people to impress folks, and Jason, young and being around and very impressionable, so he's doing his dead letter best to, do an impression in front of, you got to be kidding me, George Animal Cell, a Hall of Famer himself with the green tongue, and just blah, 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 blah. And now he's working in the office, not knowing the context of anything. And I can see old George just dog cussing Jason out, and Owen in the corner laughing his ass off and walking right up behind it saying, George, what are you so upset about? What happened? The young kid irritates you? I'll take care of it. Let me go talk to this kid. get him out of here, knowing that Owen orchestrated all of it. Good stuff.
We got a couple more before we get out of here, so I want to make sure we get to them. One in the mailbag, Francis Reyes.
Oh,
Francis at My World Pod. Have you had a chance to clear up your warehouse, and have you ever found something you did not know was in there?
So, kind of crazy here, Francis, that I just recently found about, I don't even know if it's 10 or 15 blue bag specials, the old Don West, from the Global Force days. And I also found about 10 to 15 boxes. Yeah, they're not full, but they are 8x10s of Global Force, the ones that we used in programs and stuff like that. So there is some images in there that I got to kind of figure out. There's a few Global Force shirts, but I thought all that stuff. Anyway, yeah. So Francis, good question. Maybe I'll try to figure out how to get that out, and I don't know, sell it at a basement penny price or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, found some pictures.
Basement penny price.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you think I should sell it more?
We just asked you a fake concert, and you're like, well, whoever's going to make me the most money.
I mean,
and then you're like, I found all these treasures. You buy them for a penny.
Okay.
They're Don West deals. You got to hype them up.
I'm telling you that now the blue bags, I wouldn't, those, there's only a few of those. Yeah. God bless him. Man.
Maybe it needs to be at the gimmick table at StarCast Wembley.
Ooh. We got to make that happen. We got to get y'all's big ass across the pond.
This is a fun one to go out on because it's kind of open ended. I can't wait to see where your brain goes with this.
Oh boy,
Coach Rosie in the live chat had a very interesting one. He said, "Jeff, what forbidden door has not been opened in professional wrestling?" Well, I mean, you've seen it all. You've talked about all the advancement. We're talking about now unscripted, quote, scripted reality shows coming out on Netflix. And what's that going to do? Is there where's there a forbidden door left?
WWE and AEW working together.
Woo!
That ain't going to happen. But never say never.
It is a forbidden door.
It's a forbidden door. But, you know, at the end of the day, he who writes the checks writes the rules. Is there a crazy day where you see mergers of Peacock and WBD and who knows whatever else may be that, you know, the media companies at the end of the days, it all goes back to the fan base, what they want and how all that, but then you kind of layer it up from there. The media companies, and the media companies are really driven by ad sales. And so the sponsors, you got to make those happy. I mean, it's business, the cost of doing business, the direction, but that's a forbidden door. And I just think you have to say never. I know, you know, back in the day, early days, did they ever think, what was it called? The AFL and the NFL? Oh, they'll never work together. Well,
boom.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, so never say never. I think you look at the changes in baseball. Speaking of baseball, I'm in Fargo this week for American Association of Professional Baseball. Got the All-Star game, got a busy week. I'm going to be in Kane County on Thursday night, obviously our residency, Chicago. But baseball continues to grow and grow and grow in my world. But, you know, there's a lot of changes in baseball and pitch count and how that's being done. I think basketball is changing. We know football, just sports are changing in general. I think you see different collaborations in music, just across the board. Never say never. I mean, never, but that, Coach Rosie, hell of a question. You know, I don't say 3 years from now, but let's just say 5 to 10 years from now, things could get real interesting.
Hey, do you think, production-wise, do you think there would ever be a cam in Gorilla where you could just live watch Gorilla instead of the show?
No doubt.
Because I think it's one of the last fascinating aspects that we get glimpses, you know, they'll show a highlight every now and then on Twitter or whatever, social media. But just to see them do a whole intro to end is very fascinating to me.
Did you watch the MLB All-Star game?
No, I was traveling.
Okay, so Clayton Kershaw, Hall of Famer.
Saw some of the highlights of that. Yeah.
Okay, with mic'd up, right?
Fascinating.
What to me, and look, I'm an admitted sports junkie, but this dude is got a piece in his ear, and he's, they're calling a pitch, and I don't, but that kind of access, the respect that goes to me to a whole nother level, that these guys are the best baseball players on the planet, and to open the door on that. So I do think all that kind of access raises the game. And again, we'll go back to kind of how we started. Does it enhance the product is the kind of dividing line. And so your question is a camera at Gorilla? Hell yeah. I mean, no doubt. No doubt.
I would absolutely find that fascinating. And our last question on a fun one, non-wrestling, we're out of here. Mr. T94 said, Mr. Jarrett, what's your favorite Andy Griffith Show episode, and why is it the haunted house? I knew you would love
the haunted house. Oh man, Mr. T.
Do you have a different one?
Oh gosh, I've got all kind of group chats, text like we all do, but I've got several that I'll just throw a meme of Andy or Barney or Ernest T or Gomer or Goober. Favorite, it's really hard to I got little favorite scenes. I think Barney is in all of them. When Barney does the preamble, we the people hold the book on me. I mean, there's a few just classic. But
Citizen's Arrest is a banger with Gomer. That's an all-timer. The pickle story with Aunt B is pretty all-timer.
You could look, but you just the magic of Andy anyway. People are like, what the hell?
I knew you would appreciate that to go.
But the formulaic comedy too is a lost art, as you are aware. But you kind of look at the series of sitcoms from Andy to Jesus, the Jeffersons, All in the Family, all the sitcoms, all the way up, Seinfeld. Just like that formulaic comedy, you have to appreciate that. We could go on a rabbit.
That's incredible. It's almost every episode is almost one big setup to the punchline at the end. You know what I mean? But the best part is that you don't realize that you're following a story. And then you get to the end, you go, okay, okay. Should have seen this coming. But that's the beauty of it. And it's fantastic. So thanks for the question. Thanks everybody for the questions.
Wait, hold on. You ever seen Theo Vaughn live?
I have. I've interviewed him. He's been in my studio.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah. But back right before he popped off and his podcast started popping off, he came, I think, twice to Huntsville, couldn't even sell it out, the comedy club. So he would come pitch for tickets. Hey, come see me. I mean, I remember the first time he came in, told the story about having to sell dead gerbils outside the Superdome in New Orleans to make money. And I mean, we were in tears. He did like a 7-minute bit without us asking a question.
On radio?
Yeah, on radio. We were dead. I was like, whoo, buddy, if that don't sell you tickets, ain't nothing going to sell you tickets. And of course, literally, next time he comes around the next year, it's, he's at the Civic Center. And you're like, yeah, well deserved. Nicely done.
I got you. Anyway,
incredible.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I appreciate it. Casio, I've had a blast today, bud.
Thanks for letting me pitch hit. Thanks everybody for interacting with us. I know I'm not no Conrad, but y'all got in here and hang out with us. Appreciate everybody for the super chats. We greatly appreciate that. And appreciate everybody who hit us up on Twitter at MyWorldPod. He's at Real Jeff Jarrett. I'm at the Casio Kid. Make sure before you leave, you subscribe. Hit that notification button. That way you'll know every time that we go live and every time there's new content out. Check everything out at myworldpod.com. Silva, thank you for running the show, brother. Always appreciate your help. Jeff, tell the fam I said hello, and thank you for not slapping me.
Goober says, hey.
Thanks, everybody. He's the real Double J. I'm Casio. We'll see you back here again next time on the My World.
Peace.
With Jeff Jarrett.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-Free Shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.